I'm Delphina James, and I'm going to be talking about my book that I have produced. Um, and they are officially published now. Had the book launch last week. And just to explain a bit more why this resource will help pan players. Um, to start off with, I have to say, I've had some comments the where players will say, oh, but I don't need music, I don't need to read music to play pan. No, you don't. It's just another musical skill, and if you want to learn it, you have a resource. It's also for tutors to differentiate in their lessons. Something different, can't have the same structure all the time. But I will try to negotiate this technology. Please bear with me as I share my screen and show you a presentation and to go into my books. And please, if you have any questions. Okay, here we go. Share. Okay, great. Right, excellent. So I've done these 4 books. I haven't just done it for the tenor pan, which tends to what happens. Everybody just gravitates towards the tenor pan. I've done it for all the steel pans. When I say all the steel pans, I don't mean like the quads or the triple seconds. I just mean the full range of the instrument from bass all the way up to tenor. I also did it for these. I've given it these names is because these are what we have in our schools in London, in the UK, and I teach on these pans, and these are the most popular pans in schools. So I thought, why shouldn't I do them for these pans? Now, as you can see, the publishing process is such a long deal. Guitar is spelt wrong. I'm sure you can all see it, and you're probably all screaming at me. But yes, that was a part of the whole publishing um, process. And they're sending it to you, and then you're looking at it, and it's like, but I've already gone through the. Yes, that's the publishing process. And they say, no, it's right. That is, yeah, long. Okay. So with these books, I developed a Steelpan curriculum so that I can have a path and a direction for my pan students using my books. So looking through in UK, we have something called term time, which roughly covers 12 weeks per term. And so we've got term 1, term 2, term 3, and I've done this for 2 years so that they can follow through, and I have something to follow where we have on the left side, we have the attainment target and the musical element of all of them, and what we can pick and choose what we're following, the path that we're following. Followed by, so if we have a look at term 1, play monophonic rhythms with the band. So everyone's playing the same thing so that they can get used to playing the playing together. So my aim to teach beginner Steelpan learners music theory, literacy, and to read music. So even though you're reading music, you don't sometimes understand it. So that's where the music theory and literacy comes into it, where you can further explain the concept. So my idea, having where this book came from, I've got 20 years teaching experience. I've never had a structured teacher plan because schools only want the pupils to learn songs. That's it. And there's not really any time to even teach proper skills and technique. So by the end of the term, they have a song to perform because I definitely want to be included in some sort of performance and my students to have that experience of performing. So, but all the time, I just had to make sure I had a song, I had an arrangement that they can handle and just go with that. there were no resources. I've started Tambam's Still Orchestra Academy, which is a music school just for still pans, and it's going to have rote learning and music theory learning. So while I was looking around, I wanted to support fellow pan authors, pan arrangements. Like this PanNotation is a great new result. It's brilliant. It's a great idea. Things like this I was looking for, and I couldn't find any. And I know people have produced books, but finding them had been an issue. Um, so I'm also a woodwind teacher, which is clarinet, saxophone, bassoon, recorder, flute, and as I'm teaching my students, those that were having difficulty, I would write out extra little exercises for them to practice at home, or yeah, some warm ups in the lesson, and they would read this, because they're learning to read while they play their instrument. And so with clarinet and saxophone, I thought, let me just do a book for my clarinet and saxophone. Look how many books there are. There's so many clarinet, saxophone, bassoon books out there in a series. And I thought, oh yeah, let me just add to it. So I started composing for clarinet and saxophone, including doing the transpositions for these instruments. And then I thought, oh, you know what? Let me do just 10 duets for these songs and for these instruments. And I thought, at least they can perform them, and it's my music. Let me get some music out. I'm like, actually, why can't I just do both? Make a whole music tuition book. And then a new term had begun, and one of my bassoon students brought in the music from his orchestra. He's just started, so about 6 weeks in, and he said, can we go through some of this music from orchestra? I said, yeah, not problem. I asked him some questions. How many tunes are you playing? And he said he's playing 3 songs for the Christmas concert. I thought, oh, well, okay. And I'm looking at the part, and the part is a horn part. And what's happened is that the conductor has adapted it, altered it, so he can play the horn part, but for his instrument. And I thought, okay, yeah, clever. That includes him. So I'm thinking, okay, this young child started the same time as my pan children, and my pan children, sorry, I say pan, still pan children, are going to perform as well, but they can only do 1 piece, and the orchestra's doing 3 pieces. And I just got to thinking, well, if my pan students could read music, not only could the conductor alter, let's say, a flute part, a simple flute part, and then the pan player could be included, or the still pan could play more songs, which is what I want. Because I just put out a score and they'll, pick it up, something simple. And we can play 3 songs. I said, hang on a minute. Why don't I just do these books for still pan? And it took me a while to get there. Until the Christmas, it was a Christmas, preparing for Christmas time. And in the UK, we start our school in September. And I'm just like, they've all started at the same time, but they're performing 3, we're performing 1, because that's all they can do by rote. And I'm just like, oh, do the book for free, for still pan. Started from scratch. I decided how I'm going to do it for still pans, and so I actually initially started it for clarinet, saxophone, bassoon, and ended up on a still pan eventually. So the reason why I think these books are important, like I've said, is just to include our still pan musicians. Because without a doubt, you guys, pan players, we can play anything. We can play any style, any genre. Children, as they start to understand their instrument, they can play anything. This will give them opportunities, especially performing opportunities. Also, they could also get their graded exams, and I'm hoping to get in contact with someone in the UK. They do practical exams for Steelpans. So I'm hoping that these resources will help them. And I've I've got a number, but when you go to the website, it's just difficult to understand and where to go. So I keep thinking, just finding these people is a little bit of a struggle. Um, when you learn how to read music, it's just a new musical skill, and I don't see anything wrong with that. That's how I learned when I was younger. I learned by myself, reading a book, and could read music by the time I was at high school, secondary school. And this will help the teachers with lesson variety. So it's a new resource out there. You might want to chop up your lesson. Okay, we're going to do a warm up, turn to page this, and let's just do number one, let's do that. And then the rest of the lesson is by rote. Also, so this is something I've did. This is something to include young people, young children that their parents might have difficulty buying the book. So not only did I make the book a physical book, I've made it into an ebook because the ebook is cheaper, and I want this to be accessible to everyone. And what's happening is that technology, it seems like everyone's got. It's available. It's right there, and it's on Amazon, and it's easy to find. Um, and like these are some of the leaflets and posters that we had to at my book launch that just explain some of that, and it works like this. So you look at the book, and the video that comes up.
This evening's guest, who is known as the Paness. Her name is Delphina James. Delphina James is one of the leading pan players in the UK.
So you look at it and something comes up, and I think that's amazing. Like I'm just, it's not these videos. This was how the lady was explaining to me how it works. But I'm so in awe of technology when it works. And it's a great idea to keep Steelpan moving with the times. And it's interactive and it's videos. So at the moment, at the book, on the start of the books, we have just an introduction to the book. And on the back, we've got an outro just to say, I hope you enjoyed it and whatnot. And so the plan for the next series of these books is to get each of these songs interactive. So you will see someone playing and then you can play along, just to keep that technology involved with it. But it's just a book as well, and it's got technology. I just think it's amazing. So I would like to get into the book very quickly because yeah, I do ramble a lot. I'm so sorry. So this is how I started. For those that like, if you've got questions on how to publish a music book, this is how I started, on Word. Okay, and I just did. I don't know how to change channels. Hang on. I just started like this on Word. So at the beginning, I have a welcome page, and it says that I've composed all the songs. I've learners can perform any song when they're ready. All the songs are in duet format, and I found that the children or learners just enjoyed playing with another person on the same level. So the music is the same level, and you can interchange the pieces so that they get more practice. I'm a big advocate for practice, just saying. And the learners can actually begin to get ensemble playing and understanding the importance of independence practice, because they have to get their part right in order to make the whole piece perfect. So they have to think that, oh, okay, let me get this part right. Oh, she's working on her part. Yes. So I just want independent practice and them to understand about ensemble playing. And learners can swap parts. And this book, this resource can be used as a supplement, can be used as sight reading practice, finger technique, training, music theory, and understanding. You can use the book on its own and see how far you get. But there's some, if you find something better, or if you do something better, use that. This is a good supplement just to help with that.
Hi,
I,
excuse Delphina.
sorry, how many minutes have I gone over? Oh,
Just
3.
coming up on the last few. Is there any closing remarks you'd like to make for your
I
audience?
would, if you have any, if you have any questions regarding what else is in the book, because at the moment I see a lot of people asking and I just needed to get it out here. Please contact me now. My name's Delphina James on Facebook, or on Instagram, Delphina James Music, Twitter, Delphina James Music. And yes, you can have a look at them. They're on Amazon, available. You can get your teaching plans sorted. You can get curriculum, sort out your own curriculum. See, guitar spelt properly there. And I've got a lot of acknowledgements, but for another time, please feel free to ask questions. I learned reading music through a book, and with Steelpan, there is nothing. And it was the first instrument I learned at age 8. And I'm just thinking, for all your learners, for anyone out there, you can learn music on the Steelpan. Thank you.